Hi everybody, welcome back to another macro video. If you've been watching my channel lately, you noticed that I changed to the NiSi 58mm macro lens on the Canon 100mm from the Raynox DCR-250. I absolutely love this combination. The image quality seems to be superb. Anyway, today I'm going to be testing a different setup. I decided to combine both the 58mm close-up lens from NiSi with the 77mm close-up lens just to boost the magnification ratio a little bit. I've already done some preliminary testing in the studio just to see how much more magnification we can squeeze out by combining these two macro lenses. In this first shot, you can see that the 58mm close-up lens boosts the 1:1 magnification to approximately 2:1. 2x magnification. Once we attach the 77mm close-up lens, this magnification ratio is increased by approximately another 30%, so well into the realm of extreme macro. What I've noticed is that the working distance has considerably been reduced as well, so you gotta take that into consideration, but it's still very usable and it's not as difficult as, for example, using the Laowa 25mm ultra macro lens in the field. Anyway, I'm gonna put my backpack down. We're gonna start searching for some subjects, take some test shots. Let's get started. I already took some images yesterday and I've added a couple more that are keepers, hopefully. Let's hop into my computer and have a look.
Let's start with a few shots of a beautiful male garden jumping spider. I'm not exactly sure of the species. I absolutely adore this genus. Those huge eyes and rather large pedipalps and chelicerae are distinctive characteristics of male garden jumping spiders. I tried to create stacked shots and grabbed several frames, but unfortunately he kept moving around quite a bit on the leaf, and the alignment of the individual frames to create a deeper depth of field didn't work out this time. The first 3 shots were all taken at the maximum magnification, then the last image where he was putting on a thread display on my palm was captured at the minimum magnification with this combination of lenses when I turned the focusing ring all the way to infinity. Even in this frame, I only got the prothorax in focus. The abdomen was already out of focus, but the detail and sharpness was still exceptional. Our next subject is another garden jumping spider, most likely a 6-mite jumping spider, and this one is a female. The coloration of this specimen is quite different and they are usually more lightly colored than males. Here she was doing a bit of reconnaissance on the underside of a leaf. In the second image, you can see all those colorful hairs, called setae, around her eyes and part of the head. She was much more timid than the male, but actually ended up jumping on my hand, and I grabbed a few more shots of this little beauty. In this shot, from the side, you can see that she was actually hiding between my closed fingers. Then she decided to move eventually to the center of my palm, and I was lucky to capture her while she was preening herself, and then posed for me a little right at the end with some awesome eye contact. In the next few shots, I'll be showing you images of different orb weavers. The first one I captured was backlit. That's why you can see all the different colors on the web. If you're interested why this phenomenon occurs, then you should check out an educational video of mine in which I explain why this happens. I will leave a link in the description to that video. The next couple of shots are of one of the smallest orb weavers I've ever captured, and it took me quite some time to grab these 2 semi-decent images as it kept moving on her web non-stop. In the first image, you can see that it was holding a pre-digested victim of hers. Then in the second one, she kept casting new lines to secure herself onto a small twig. I really like this next image too. The coloration of this eastern bush orb weaver is quite beautiful with all those yellow, orange and darker earthy tones. The conspicuous web decoration both at the top and the bottom is called the stabilimentum. Its function is still a subject of debate, but most likely it helps make the web more visible, so for example birds don't fly into it. Our second last image of our orb weaver series is of a typical orb weaver. It was rather small as well, less than a centimeter I'd say. I was very happy to capture this single frame, which is probably my best shot of this particular species. Once again, the image quality is exceptional in my opinion. There is so much discernible detail in those tiny hairs that cover the ventral part of its body. The last shot is of a white-winged orb weaver. I couldn't take a closer shot as my diffuser kept bumping into the vegetation it was resting on and didn't want to disturb it too much, so I decided to zoom out a little. I also captured one of its potential victims, a small ant specimen whose exoskeleton was already partially destroyed on the other side of this small branch. Our next subject is a leaf curling spider, and I was super happy to finally capture one out in the open, as normally they hide inside a cylinder-shaped curved leaf that they use to ambush their prey. Here you can see another specimen I had captured a while ago, as it was feasting on something delicious. Our very last spider species is most likely a lynx spider, but please don't quote me on that. The reason why I think it's a lynx spider is because of the characteristic spiky hairs and also how acrobatically it was hopping from one leaf onto another. Unfortunately, I couldn't capture it from other angles that would have helped with the identification. I was really happy with these single frames nonetheless, as it was hanging on to the edge of a small leaf. In the second backlit shot, you can see how translucent those fragile long legs are. The next couple of shots are of a hoverfly, not exactly sure of the species. Once again, it was resting on a small dried stem, and in this second image you can see as it was cleaning itself, which looked quite cool. I was also pretty surprised because normally they tend to fly away, as I had to get very close at the maximum magnification. Our last series of shots are of a gum tree hopper. I finally managed to get a few stacked shots of this specimen, which looked absolutely amazing. The vibrant red color of its segmented abdomen and the intricate patterns on the wings are eye-catching for sure. In this third shot, it had already climbed further up a stem, then eventually ended up crawling onto my fingernail, and I was very fortunate to capture this last portrait, which shows how tiny these creatures are.
Anyway, this is for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys very soon in my next macro adventure.